This is the plaintiff, Walton Brown. He says the defendant, his landlord, thinks he's above the law and can go around stealing money from his former tenants. Well, he's here to challenge the defendant and to show him he can't just steal money from law-abiding tenants like himself. Bottom line, the man's a thief trying to keep his security for no good reason, and that's why he's here suing him for the $1,171.98 he's owed. This is the defendant, Ron. He says he's entitled to the money he kept from the plaintiff's security, and for him to sue is a big mistake. He's discovered even more damages upon further inspections. He's the one who's owed additional money for those repairs, and he predicts he will walk out of here with even more than he came in with. He's accused of not playing fair. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,250 for additional damages.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant is like a thief trying to steal a security deposit. But the defendant says there's lots of damage. Lots. It's the case of your insecurity over my security.
Thank you, Douglas. Walton Brown III and Renika Brown, you're representing both of you?
Yes.
Today? Right. You are suing your former landlord. You want to be referred to as Ron and Nancy, and you are representing both of you.
Yes,
today?
I am.
Okay. For $1,171.98 of your security deposit, which was withheld by your landlord, you say wrongfully, you are counterclaiming an additional $1,250 over the money you've kept now, saying that the damages are even more than you thought they were. Let me hear from you first. Go ahead.
Okay, so when I moved out of the property on...
How long had you lived there?
A year and a half.
Okay.
And I moved out of the property on...
And so were you under a lease when you moved out or no?
Yes, I was under a lease. The lease ended.
Had it expired, so you were month to month. Okay, and then you moved out when?
I moved out on the 31st of May, and the lease was for a year and a half.
Oh, it was for a year and a half from
Correct.
the beginning. Okay, all right. And you moved out and you moved somewhere. Did you buy a house? Did you move?
Yes, I bought a house. That's
okay.
why.
So your relationship with your landlord had been a good one until then, right?
Correct.
So you're both. It's kind of interesting that in both your complaint and your answer, you expressed dismay that you thought they were great tenants and you thought he was a nice landlord and everything was fine until it wasn't. Right. I'm kind of surprised it got this far. So you expected to get all of your security deposit back, or did you do a walkthrough with him?
We did a walkthrough, and I felt that the damages that were there were just normal wear and tear.
Like what? What were the damages that he pointed out in the walkthrough?
There were surface scratches on the floor or scuffs, in which he also said in his letter, which he sent to me. And then there were also a vanity drawer that needed to be repaired and one towel in the bathroom that had a hairline crack.
A tile?
Yes.
Okay. And how did that crack get in the tile?
I'm not too sure, but it wasn't there prior, so it had to be me.
All right. So then he withheld for that how much?
Just for the towel, it was $450.
Okay. And for the floor?
For the floor, he charged me $650, I do.
To refinish all the floors?
To refinish the dining room floor, where it was at, the living room floor, and one of the bedroom floors.
And were there marks on all the floors?
No, there weren't marks on all the floors. There were 2 bedrooms with no marks. It was just surface scratches just from having furniture.
So let me see, first of all, the letter that you sent to him regarding keeping the money.
So the first one you see there is the letter I sent to him describing the charges and the subsequent check that I
Why
enclosed.
was a tile so much? The $450 for a broken tile?
It's a ceramic tile. It is
so the ceramic tile is probably like $3, but
right. You can go
and
$3.
You had it.
First you have to find one. Then you have to rip up the floor. You have
Wait,
to
you don't have any spare tile?
No.
Okay, so why would you have to rip up the floor? You just have to rip up the tile and replace it, right?
Yeah, no? It's not a 5-minute ditty.
I don't think it's a 5-minute ditty. I'm wondering why it's a $450 ditty.
Well, because first of all, I have to
Because I've done this, so yeah.
Well, as have I, and first of all, you have to find the tile. There was no matching tile. I went to several stores to find a tile that was close enough to put in.
Did you fix it already?
Yes, I did.
Can I see it?
I'm sorry, I don't have a picture. But
do you have a receipt for fixing it?
No.
So is it reasonable to charge $450 when one tile's broken?
You know, I'd say not. I mean, that's kind of outrageous, but I would go back to like, maybe $75 for labor and materials.
But what if the landlord has proof that he spent that kind of money?
in that case, I think that he should pay it.
Is it okay to have to rip all the tiles around it to make it look good?
No, I don't think it's necessary as long as that one tile's fixed and it looks good.
Gotcha. Going inside the courtroom.
How did you come up with the figure 450 then? How are you going to prove it in court? Because you're entitled to keep what you can prove that he damaged.
It was my time to do the repair.
So let's talk about the damage to the vanity drawer. What was the damage?
The railing system had become broken or something to that effect, and I had repaired that.
Okay, so and how was that $75?
Well, that's my time to do the repair.
So you don't have a receipt for that either. That's okay. And then screen and recoat of living room, dining room, and bedroom floors.
Oh yeah, I don't know if there's a receipt for that there.
Well, I need receipts if you're going to keep $1,000 of people's money. I mean, come on. What are these pictures of? These are the things that you found afterwards once you heard he was going to sue you.
The walls were additional.
The additional stuff that makes up, I'm going to talk to you about the floors last.
Okay.
The additional stuff that you're suing for is $250 for damaged walls and floors, $400 for a soap dish. How is a soap dish $400?
Because the soap dish is also tiled in.
Do you have a picture of the soap dish? I know you had it here, but you don't have it in printed?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I thought I...
So that is what? That crack in the soap
it's
dish?
more than that. And again, I'm sorry the pictures aren't that good, but there's several cracks in that. And it also caused fracturing along the tile going up and down the wall.
Right.
And so it has to be replaced.
Okay.
It has to be taken out.
Where do you get the $400 figure from? Do you have a receipt for that, or are you these, again, just you estimating
it's my time.
I know, but you can't just do that. You can't just pull figures out of especially once it's heading to litigation. It's one thing for you to say that because you're handy and you're making an estimate, you're trying to negotiate with him, but it's another thing once the guy files a lawsuit against you, you have to know that you can't just name your price, walk in and name your price, because then what I do is I name my price, and your price and my price might not be the same one. So it's so much better to have receipts with legitimate third-party, disinterested experts who say this is what this is going to cost. I'm not stupid. I know that the soap dish is tiled in, so it's a little more complicated, but, I'm also, you're hard-pressed to come in without a single receipt for anything. This is the discolored part. What would that be? Where it's like white? What's that?
It's the scratches in the floor, if that's the floor you're looking at.
Yeah, it is. But isn't it kind of strange that it's white?
It could be just the lighting. Unless you're there, it's very hard. Even the pictures don't convey very well.
I know.
And there's 3 pictures in there of the actual cracked tile.
How did all the scratches happen?
I have 2 kids, and it's just from the moving of
furniture.
furniture.
You gonna blame the kids?
No,
it's really the move. The kids didn't move your stuff. I mean, this is from dragging the stuff. He actually, do you have an estimate for the $650 for the floors, or were you going to do that too? Okay.
No, I wouldn't do that. I have a receipt right here.
Okay, now this is a close-up of the cracked tile, right?
And
that's not a hairline fracture. That tile needed replacing. Yeah. What's this on the door?
That's scratched and removed paint from the door frame.
Is this how it looked, or is this in the process of you fixing it?
No, that's
how it looked. What happened there? Do you know?
When I was moving out, it got scratched.
Oh, also you want $200 in your counterclaim for court preparation?
Yes. My time is worth money.
Did you think that basically everybody can pad their lawsuits by saying my time is money and now you owe me 8 hours of my time? No, that's not how it works. All right, so give me a moment to recalculate what I think is an appropriate amount. The entire security deposit was $2,500?
Yes.
And you've already conveyed $1,328.02, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you're charging for rent. What was the rent about?
At the end of their term, they moved out, and then there was essentially, I'm going to say, just trash from life. When you move out, you always have extra stuff anytime you move. And all that was piled at the end of the driveway for, I think it says 6 days there, until they had the trash guys move it out. So essentially, they're still...
Okay, but I'm sorry, if they put it out on the street, you would have gotten fined. So he did exactly what a tenant needs to do, because they can't control what day, the 31st, and you want to charge him for that too?
It was occupied.
You need to hire more reasonable people like your floor guy who actually had a reasonable amount. Come on. And the worst part is, I understand if the guy was like a really hassle of a tenant, but they're this nice couple who you liked who just had a baby.
Your Honor,
you should be a little ashamed right now.
No, I'm not.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little.
Not a little bit. You were shameless then.
No, if you read the letter, the damages could have been quite a bit more, and I made that offer of whatever I charged for the damages. And their response was to sue for the total damages, saying that they shouldn't have to pay anything. And so after that, I said, well, if they're going to take the gloves off, I'm going to take the gloves off. Here I'm countersuing. And that's what it comes down to, tit for tat.
Yes. And now, and guess what I get to do? The person who gets to wear the black dress gets to decide what's right. I love my
That's
job.
what you paid for.
So much. So much. Okay, folks, hold on one second. Please, nobody talk so I can do my math. Okay. Based on my assessment of the damages, I'm going to order an additional amount of the security deposit to be refunded in the amount of $371.98. Verdict for the plaintiff. That takes care of the counterclaim as well, because I've taken into account everything that the defendant is claiming in the counterclaim and what I feel would be a reasonable assessment of the damages. Verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff gets a portion of his security deposit back, additional, and Ron, on your lawsuit, your counter, so you get nothing.
No, that's the way it goes.
Okay. I think she thought you were a pretty unreasonable guy.
Huh?
She thought you were pretty unreasonable.
Well, that's her right to think that.
Okay, good enough. Thank you very much. Now here comes Mr. Brown, the plaintiff. Well, you got something back, not everything, but something.
Yes.
Is it worth coming to court for?
It was worth the time, and the judge was reasonable, so I understand.
So you're happy?
Yes.
Good enough. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okie dokes. You must sign a few documents. Harvey, what do you think?
Doug, real quick, you cannot sue for your time in repairing something.